Okay. Timer's going. Mic check's going. Mic's check. Mic's rolling. Camera's rolling. Mic is set up and good. Light, hair lights on, key lights on. Let's do this. Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Cameron, and I'm here to address a very important video to me that I wasn't able to address in my last video because the last video was almost a half an hour long on the reason why my story, kind of an abridged version of why I left being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, leaving my faith. And this was always a burning question and burning in the back of my mind like a splinter. It never really fully got answered. It was one of those things that kind of got brushed under the rug, and that was the issue of blood and blood transfusions. I remember growing up as a kid, I had a little card that said if I got into a horrible accident, I would not accept blood transfusions. And that belief is based off of Leviticus chapter 17, verses 10. I actually have my old Bible here. I'm going to look that up. Leviticus chapter 17, verses 10 says, "If any man of the house of Israel or any foreigner who is residing in the midst eats any sort of blood, I will certainly set my face against the one who is eating the blood, and I will cut him off from among his people." So if you accept the blood transfusion as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, if you are one or have been one, you totally get this. You give up your hope. You will be cut off from your people, and you give up your hope on the resurrection, the new world, surviving Armageddon, seeing your family again. So basically your whole world is shattered and comes down, and you're shunned, or I believe even disfellowshipped, or someone who's anointed can lose their life or second hope. However, if you read Leviticus chapter 17, verses 13 and 14, it says, "If one of the Israelites or some foreigner who is residing in your midst is hunting and catches a wild animal or a bird that may be eaten, he must pour out its blood and cover it with dust." And if you read all the references, I have some screenshots from jw.org of other scriptures that they mentioned. Genesis chapter 9, verses 4, Leviticus chapter 3, verses 17, Leviticus chapter 7, verses 26, Leviticus chapter 19, verses 26, 1 Samuel chapter 14, verses 33, Acts chapter 15, verses 20, and one of my favorites, Acts chapter 15, verses 29, where it says to keep abstaining from things sacrificed to idols, from blood, from what is strangled, and from sexual immorality. Keep careful and watch these things. You will prosper, good health to you. If you look at the scripture there in Acts chapter 15, verses 20, and read the footnote, it says, "or what is killed without draining its blood." Every single scripture that is referenced, that I just mentioned, that I'll list below in the description, is talking about animal sacrifices and respect for animal life. Something that we don't do in today's day and age because that was part of the Mosaic law. And in the Mosaic law, there was a lot of things, a lot of rules, I think 500 to 600 of them that we just don't do anymore, like washing your hands to your elbows, not having tattoos, just a lot of very stickler things. Even like women with having their periods were considered unclean, even though that was natural. So that conflicts with the new law that Jesus set up, the sovereign law of love. However, Jehovah's Witnesses still or the governing body, the Watchtower, stays hold on this one belief that is really part of the Old Testament that we don't follow anymore. But they kind of handpick and choose and change their doctrine over time, and that really bothered me. Before I was leaving, a couple of years before I was leaving, they started introducing the blood card that you could have the choice to accept white blood cells, platelets, parts of blood. Does not make any sense to me, number one. Why would you back up and say that you can accept parts of blood when it clearly says not to eat any blood? And if you were to believe that doctrine, it makes no sense to flip-flop your views. This is not the only time they've done it. They've done it several times throughout their history. Just recently, they started letting people accept parts of blood again. And if you read every single reference that they have, every scripture is talking about animal sacrifices that we don't do anymore, or eating an animal found dead on the road, or etc. So I'm going to end this video with a clip of Raymond Franz talking about blood, and it really touched my heart and changed my mind on the view of blood that Jehovah's Witnesses have. If this video has helped you out in any way, please like, subscribe, comment, leave some comments below. Would love to hear your feedback, and it really helps me out and lets me know that these videos are helping people. Blood transfusions is a big thing. You can still get diseases from blood transfusions, but you have to be very careful, and I do think it's a conscience matter, and I don't think someone should be cut off from their people because they accepted a blood transfusion. If the organization were ever to admit that this doctrine from the old Mosaic law that we don't follow anymore, that Jesus never really mentioned, they would be admitting that they let millions, if not hundreds of thousands of people be murdered and die to an old piece of doctrine that just does not hold up to their viewpoint. Nowhere in the Bible does it actually say in the New World Translation, King James, New International Version, that you can or cannot accept blood transfusions. And I hope this video helps you out. I really do. Check out some of my other videos that I have. They're about leaving the faith, moving forward, being positive about life, taking control of your life, which you should, because you've given up so much of it, and now it's time to reclaim it. And let me help you on that journey. So check out some other videos I have. I'll roll them at the end of this video of Raymond Franz. And he's actually an ex-governing body member who defected, who tried to slip away and leave his faith because he realized that one's loyalty to God and one's loyalty to religion were two different things. And he still remained Christian. I remember growing up and hearing stories about Raymond Franz, and he was demonized to be this awful, awful person. But when you see clips of him in the video, I'll link those down below, he's like the most loving, kind, understanding person you can ever meet. Yeah, I wish he could be my grandpa. You know, and the majority of Jehovah's Witnesses mean well, but it's the top 10 to 15% that unfortunately push tradition and company policy over people's opinions and questions. So that way you're kind of fit into this box. It's not one size fits all, and that's why so many people are disfellowshipped and fall flat from being perfect, because nobody really can be. And let's see, do I have any other notes in here? I'm going to write the society for an answer. That's a note that I had. I have a lot of questions. I'm going to write the society on their answers, and that'll be a great update video for you guys to see. I will see you, brothers and sisters, in the next video.
But as time went on, I began to realize that there was no basis for the teaching. I was very impressed by a letter from a man who said that he was studying with Jehovah's Witnesses, and he was puzzled with this teaching about blood. He says, from what I can see in the Bible, blood is a symbol of life. He said, but it's only a symbol, and life is greater than the symbol. So he said, how can you sacrifice the greater thing to hold to the symbol? It's almost like a person has a wedding ring on his finger, which is a symbol of his marriage to his wife, and he'd be willing to let his wife be sacrificed rather than to sacrifice the ring. So it's something like Jesus, when they accused him of violating the Sabbath day because he healed a man on the Sabbath day, and he said, which one of you, if you have an ox or a sheep and it falls into a well, even though it's on the seventh day, who will not then proceed to rescue it? In the Bible, in the letter of James, he speaks of love as the sovereign law. That means that that's the law that is superior to all other laws. There's no law that is superior or equal to the law of love. And in Romans chapter 13, the apostle says that they should not be lacking or be owing anything to anyone except to love their neighbor as their self. And he says this is the superior law. All other laws are summed up in that. So to take laws from the Mosaic law, the Old Covenant, and let them govern things where a person loses his life to hold to that law is not going by the sovereign law, which is the law of love.